Welcome everybody, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. Today's video is going to illuminate a few minds. We're going to make a connection between the earth and the man. As is written in ancient texts, man is of the earth. Okay? We're of the earth, and I'm about to show you the connection as to why we are of the earth. Okay? I've done plenty of videos regarding this matter anyway over the years. The atom and the even split of the atom, making our reality a dual system. Now, and it's all connected with the flat earth, you see. All the ancients knew it was flat, and all logical thinkers today know that it's flat. Only those who are in dodo land, still in their lower mental state, would ever conceive or imagine they live on the outside of a spinning ball. So we're the few, because the world represents the lower state of consciousness. The physical world is the land of the dodos. Basically, we're all born into this dodo land, and our job is to raise our consciousness to find our way out. And not many can do it. This is why we have to go through many lifetimes, experience many life cycles to wisen up. Only a few get out. It's the goal of every man on earth to wake up and get out, but it's a very slow process. So those who know, know, and those who don't, don't. So a lot of us who know try to convince those who don't what they're missing out on, or their purpose in life, the goal, etc. But we're always getting knocked, aren't we? Yeah, so don't think we're the dodos. Okay? So you have to understand the flat earth system and what it looks like, the shape of it. So we start with this image up here, shaped like that. Basically, Earth is like a ring magnet, okay? It's got the centre Arctic, a very small hole, and it's a flat plane within the magnetic flux, and we all dwell inside that flux, okay? So if you took the flux of this magnet, it comes across like this. It has a flat surface. I've shown that in this with the black filings here, you see. Oh, well, look at that. If I turn that straight over, see, you see this flat surface in the middle? There's the North Pole and the South Pole, basically. You see it there? The North Pole and the South Pole, divided by the tropical gap. So it doesn't just form one nice symmetrical 180-degree arc there, does it? No. And this is what common flat earthers keep drawing everybody, as a silly dome like that. That's not the full representation of our whole earth. That's only representing one hemisphere, and then they draw the whole earth within this one hemisphere dome. Or within one arc of horizon, meridian, north to south. That's just one, say, one slice, which would represent one meridian line, dead north to south. Because this is the north and that's the south, and man is standing on one of these direct lines from north to south on this flat earth round system. Round is centre north, south, 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 right? So from there to there is one of these arcs. So don't get confused, it's only one side of the earth, isn't it? What about the other side? Okay, and then we've got to break it down again for the tropical gap, which runs all the way around. Okay? So disregard that bullshit there. I don't know if they're out to confuse you deliberately or what, but Earth is shaped like this. So consider that the ring magnet, Earth, the flat plane of inertia. It all begins at the centre here, and creation is there, that singularity, which is here, singularity, and that when Earth was created from the sun, once the sun was illuminated, everything appeared. in the light. That's why everything is of the light, all thanks to the illuminated sun. Then it created our exploded realm, which is the torus field, and created the dual entity, the male and female, because it's all related to magnetism, the north and the south pole. So we go from singularity here, singularity, and this shape you can see is actually in the flower of life too, similar to that. Because you look at this, if you see my earlier video, the flower of life, this is replicating the Vesica Pisces, right? And it all comes from here. That's the beginning. There's a singularity there, and then it creates these dual fields here, which is the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. Okay? North and south. So we take a slice through this. So if you cut over the top, slice through it, and then look back, this is the image we get. Okay? So this is what we see, or we don't see actually. That's what you have to imagine, because everything is of the mind anyway. Nothing is physical in our realm. See up here we have an S-curve within this. There's like a vortex in here, which is the right back at creation, singularity, the S-curve, and all the star motions and everything out here, all the celestial bodies, all turn, you know, they reflect, they're mirrored image, well, reflections, holographic images in our realm, all from this one S-curve cycle, out and down and back up again. Okay, that's a 24-hour cycle, down and up. We only see one at a time, either daylight or starlight. Okay, it's all within this S-curve of creation. And where else do we, and so where do we have an S-curve within the human brain? You look at this, looks like a human brain, doesn't it? Either take that as your pineal gland, the two hemispheres, or you break it down again, the two hemispheres, and whatever's in here is replicated in here. Okay? So there's the light of man. The pineal gland is in here. Our sun's perceived to be out here. It's the son of man out here. Well, what's he got in the way of an S-curve at the centre of creation? Well, he's got his hippocampus. The hippocampus, look. The head, the body, the tail, represented on earth as the seahorse. Mentioned many times in myths. Physics or something? Physics, maybe. So you take the S-curve, and what's the S-curve? It's nothing but a cardioid. Because that's the S-curve, one cycle, but then it has to return back up. So you look down, that's the 3D side elevation, say. But then if you look down on it, it's a half cycle there, and then comes back in, loops back in, the cardioid. It's all to do with the human brain. Okay, you can see it there. You'd have to be a dodo if you can't see it. So then you come over to the human brain, what have we got? So, first of all, we have the story of Jonah in the belly of the whale for 3 days, right? Not sure if you can see that. It's not much of a photo, but that's supposed to be the whale. And that fluid in the centre there is the most divine, most purest liquid, whatever, in the human body. Right there, inside here. That over the top is the hippocampus. So 3 day, the third ventricle, Jonah in the belly of the whale for 3 days, is connected to religion because everything's about the human mind, the spiritual awakening, okay? It's a virgin birth because it's all of the mind, not of the body, okay? The purest of fluid, the divine anointing fluid. But it's a mixture, there's a trinity, okay? So you've got the water, that's the holy water. You've got the wine, which represents the blood, which is released when this whole divine event happens in the brain, is man's one-off event where his claustrum tears a little bit, and then the blood is released, just like a woman losing her virginity. This is one man's occasion, a man's one-off occasion. The whole creation story is a one-off event. Okay, so what has he got? He's got the hypothalamus right here. Okay, the third entity of the divine trinity, the release of dopamine. It sends the, it acts as the spiritual enlightenment, but it also, this all affects the adrenaline within the body as it's happening. And this adrenaline and dopamine is all connected to the phallus in all the mythological stories that refer to the phallus, and how the Greeks talk about the sexual activities and all this regarding the phallus, because it's all, when man goes through this event, it's all about fluid and the mix through his body, and then it gets excreted. It has to accumulate and be released through ejaculation. It's another story, but I'll leave that to my Patreons. Okay? So you got the pineal gland here, which represents the sun of man. We have the sun over here, the actual sun of creation, Earth. We see the image out here. It's projected image in the light spectrum. You can't see pure plasma. We can't see the pineal gland either unless you cut the head out, cut the brain apart. So there's the sun. Okay, there's the sun. And on the opposite side, you've got the moon. We've got the pituitary gland, the moon. And during spiritual enlightenment, which is all what religion's all about, is the moon is full and it's completely opposite from the sun. There's a woman walking across the lawn for some reason. And then here we have the third entity, because the Trinity, you have a planet involved with the process, which initially starts with this full solar eclipse, or a solar eclipse. And in this case we have the hypothalamus, the third entity of the divine trinity, the release of the dopamine, the third ventricle, one of the four rivers mentioned in the Bible. So the four ventricles of the human brain are the four rivers mentioned in, is it Genesis? Somewhere? So you realise in the brain, look, you can't deny it, okay? So understanding what's this, the mind of man is the black hole of creation, okay? So this the mind of the man, right where his thoughts come from, say, right at the centre, the black hole, and then you've got Earth is created from the black hole. And what are they saying now at the moment? Have you anyone seen the YouTube short of someone in that English studio there where the old scientists used to do their lectures? And you may find this very strange, but Earth could be from the black hole. You know, I've described all that for the last 5 years. They tend to sort of come out and repeat what I've said 5 years later, or a year or so later. You know, I've fully explained all that, how Earth is from the hole, okay? I mean, it's been known since time began. I mean, you only have to read the Hermetic, Hermes Trismegistus. It's actually written there, Earth is from the hole. The ancients knew, okay? So it's coming out now, but always a while after I've put it up on my videos. So if you don't believe me, go check out all my videos. I've still got hundreds more I haven't even put on there, and hundreds I've taken off to edit. Okay, so what's happening in here at singularity is an exploded image out here between the two fields here. Because back here at creation we have the two fields. We have because the sun, that represents the centre of the Milky Way. You've got one end of the Milky Way coming into the sun, you've got the other end coming in. So you've got a male and female here. There's the dual forces coming together to meet the sun here. Now over here in our realm we have the two forces of the poles. You've got the South Pole and the North Pole. They come and swing down here and cross over and go back up to their figure eight cycle. Continuously cycling in the figure eight. And as they're moving, some of them find a pair, and they create this pairing in here. So this pairing is what creates the light, the illumination, the energy, the electromagnetic force. This is electromagnetism being created in here. Okay? And that's what the sun is, electromagnetism, which is, this eventually goes up and feeds, and they call it plasma and that. But I break all that down in other older videos, okay? So you could say you've got the male and the female, because you've got a south pole and a north pole. So you've got the male and the female here, which is called the Aphrodite. Okay, so all the mythological stories, if you think it's a female, you're half right, okay? Because it's male and female. The whole divine story of the Greeks has been spinning, or people are trying to interpret now, is of the male and the female. And all the sexual exploits and all that are to do with this divine moment. It's nothing physical. Only the simple mind, common man, takes it literally and turns it into some disgusting sexual orgy. Okay? But only to the wise, we understand the whole thing. We know. So there you have it. You have your pairing and you create the sun. But the pairing, it's hard to describe, it finds equilibrium and feeds the black hole. So you've got to realise there's the spin going on here. Physics knows about the spin. I haven't looked into it too much, but there's a spin in the magnetic field. So the field, it does a spin around the hole and shoots off, and that's what creates the moving of the magnetic field. Where's a ring magnet? Here's a ring magnet. So what happens, the field comes in from the south, goes over to the north, spins around the black hole of avoidance and shoots off over the top. I've drawn it here. That's the cycle of it's a magnetic cycle. Under magnetic cycle, a magnetic cycle has a spin around its black hole centre. So it's coming in, spin, and it comes out over. So there's an under and over, or in and out. Because that's what a magnetic field is. There's an in field and there's an out field. So whether they call that north or south, whatever, but the other one's on this side, coming out. It's always a returning cycle, and this is what the cycle does here. It comes up here, down Cancer, along the ground, there it shall go, up and over the field, down at Capricorn, along the field, up again. So a lot of it's coming up towards here to meet the sun, but a lot does not find pairing, okay? So the only odd one finds pairing. It's a bit like sperm, isn't it? You only get one in there. One that hits the egg, and this is creation. What's coming up here is the hydrogen molecule, the energized water molecule coming up through the tropics. Okay? All the magic's down here. We all know all about this in capacitance, electrical engineering or physics. So this is what's going on inside. So you have to imagine what's here. You can collapse it all back to a 2D plane and then bring it over here, because this is basically a 2D plane. There's the 2D plane across here. That's the ecliptic plane, you could say. And the 2D plane has created this projection, the 3D depth. As soon as that 3D depth is created from the sun, because once the sun's illuminated, that exposes the 3D magical realm. And as soon as that's exposed, boom! It created the whole toroidal field, our whole reality. We come from nothing. Realise this. Okay? Now, going back to the centre of the brain again, we have looked at Axis Mundi, or the Rupees Negro, the place of the whirlpool, the Beaufort Gyre. We know there's a Beaufort Gyre, there's a freshwater whirlpool up there in the north. The sinkhole that feeds all the purified water back into the earth. Now, I did a video on all this. I figured all this out myself. I didn't know that Mercator knew all about this Rupees Negro sinkhole that fed back through into the earth. I didn't know that, but I did a video on all that, describing how it all works. That may be one of the hundreds I've taken down to edit, but you know, might be. Yeah, I think I've no to keep it. That's right. I was trying to keep them private for to put on my Patreon page because it's going nowhere on YouTube because I'm shadow banned. And you know, they've taken down my sites off Google. You could punch in @meta369 and you get this whole page of my site. I've tried to do it here from New Zealand. I can't. It's not there anymore. But there was a lady in England said she can find it in England, but I don't know what's going on. But they're trying to hide all my information, okay? They know I know, and they know that I'm a flat earth and I can describe the whole flat earth system. So they're screwed. I can screw them every time. Every time. They're just full of it, these globe people. It's all lies. So you got the Buford guy. So you got pure water there. That's the sun comes. This water gets purified. It comes up over here through the Milky Way. It gets purified by the sun, and all the mist drops back down to the Buford Gaia. The purest of water on Earth. Well, where's the purest of fluid in the human brain? Right in there. Okay? And look what happens. It hits the pineal gland area there, and it drifts down here in mist, and then goes through the whole system, the recycling system. What happens here in man's spiritual rebirth? This fluid gets released, exposes the pineal gland. Whether it all disappears or whatever, but the pineal gland is left high and dry, no fluid around it, and he's able to pick up the higher frequencies of the universe. Makes him God-like. So you can correlate the two. Understand that. The water's getting released back down into the earth. Since the sun's sitting up high and dry. The whole story of the Axis Mundi, or the mountain. Because look, the sinkhole that feeds all the purified water back into the earth. Then you come over here. There once was a black magnetic mountain, but it broke off and fell into the sea. This is one legend as to why humanity is drowned in stupidity in the lower chakra. It replicates the pineal gland that is submerged in fluid. This fluid is the most purest place of the human body within the hippocampus, deep into temporal lobe. Okay? And there's the S curve of creation is up here also. Shall I draw it in for you? Ruin my picture? No, I won't, but it's in here. You'll see it in a lot of my older videos. It's that S cycle. Remember, looking down into it, it'll look like a cardioid. So, and look, up here we have the representation of your DNA, the human DNA. Look, DNA is found in the cell nucleus. There's singularity. The Milky Way comes from here over to there, and from the ground up into here. The nucleus is in here, or in the center of there. DNA. Okay? Could be represented by the two snakes flying up the totem pole, the neutral zone, because right down the centre of here is the neutral, which represents the black hole. They do not merge, they do not meet. This is magnetism. This is why we have this magnetism here, because this is the black hole. The black hole is here. Okay? It avoids the black hole. Nothing goes into the black hole. You're all fooled or lied to. People on the YouTube now doing their shorts, these physicists, call themselves physicists, nothing but freaking idiots, telling you everything falls into the hole, everything goes into the hole. How do they prove that? Where's the proof? Nothing. Because everything spins around the hole to avoid the hole. And that's how creation comes about. It's the friction of the two forces that spin around the hole. Because creation's all about friction, isn't it? What do you do when you have sex? There's a lot of friction going on. That's how you make babies. That's just one example, okay? So understanding this spin in the magnetic cycle. So you got the build up here, the pairing and the balancing. The pairing actually feeds the black hole. And it's the friction before it finds the pairing that creates the light, the illumination of the sun. So this see the moisture that's been recycled going through the earth, we do all sorts of crap to it, turns to shit, and then comes back up to be recycled. As it's coming up through the atmospheric layers, okay, it's getting ionized, changing from one state to the other, becomes pure. So you could say it's purified here, but this image here is basically back there. This is an exploded image of what's happening here. Okay? So it's all getting purified and it feeds the actual pure plasma sun. And look, it's confined in this tight magnetic field, this V here. And realise this is the female. The V represents the female, it's the magnetic. This is all female coming up this end of the Milky Way. And from here is created the male, which comes in from this end of the Milky Way. You look at the Milky Way at night, there's a big white, well, with good photography, you'll see it online and whatever, or the white cloud that's in behind, that's the sunny side. That's the daylight side of the Milky Way, because the Milky Way turns around the Earth, doesn't it? I mean, there's the Earth, and here's the tropical gap. And the Milky Way comes out of there over into the centre. Well, that's moving all the way around, isn't it? Over 24 hours it comes right round. Okay? So, and which way it's facing, because the sun's right in the centre here, the light comes out this way, whereas the Milky Way's turning, this elbow here, this bend, boomerang, or kneecap, is turning around the hole, because the sun, there's the black hole, the sun moves around this hole, projecting its light either that way or that way across the hole as it turns. It's turning. Okay, that turning is daylight. The other side is obviously night time. Away. See, a lot of ignorant people who don't know anything about flat earth and will want to laugh at you. One of their first statements is, oh, you can't even explain day or night. No. You can't explain how stupid you got, because it all started when you were 5 years old. That's what you need to tell them. Through indoctrination. So that's the connection between man and the earth. Okay? There's probably a lot more, but that's all I've got on the mind. Understanding the human body with the celestial bodies. The seven. It's all about the seven. The moon, the sun, and the 5 planets. Okay? Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And there's another thing while we're here. Understanding why Mars is the planet of war, of fire, because all the action's in here. What science calls radiation, all being created in here. Mars is here, the red planet. Then you have Jupiter and Saturn. On this side you have Venus and Mercury. It's in the centre here. Well, the Milky Way comes over and comes down here. These 2 planets here are outside this Milky Way line. And this is connected. One of my patrons was talking about Arnold in the I'll Be Back videos. What's that? He was represented as Mars. He falls to Earth. He's the terminator. Look, the terminating line before it drops. The termination. It's all connected. Okay, we just need some great minds to all interact with each other. They're awake people. The creeps, the satanic pricks, the Freemasons at the top, they've got their club. They know a lot of this. They're not telling you though. So us, us other people that aren't satanic like those people, we need to get together as a collective and share this truth. Because you won't get it from the satanic freaks that are running our world, committing genocide at the moment, wiping out an entire